it's Tuesday
and we're going to make pizza!
As Valerie said, we are having an end of the school year pizza party. We're making dough from scratch. So we can't wait to get started, but we'll give you a few minutes to log on. I'm Lindsay Perkins. This is my daughter, Valerie.
Hi!
She is just finishing up her 3rd grade year and we are ready to party. So hopefully you guys are ready to make pizza. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna preheat our ovens to 425 degrees so you can get that going while everyone arrives to class. So get ready, pizza party with Lindsay Perkins and Valerie. Hello, hi everyone who's just joining us now.
Hello!
We are sort of gathering our ingredients. Hi Waxmans, we did it, we're cooking. Yep. Valerie's pointing out that I am making, I'm gonna do a topping on my pizza with caramelized onions. So I have that sort of going now. I just thinly sliced an onion and I'm just sauteing it in some olive oil. And now I have it on the point where it's on low.
Hi.
So I'm gonna let it go. Hey everybody who's just coming on. Hello. So I'm I'm doing a pizza with caramelized onions. You are free to do whatever topping you choose. I was just seasoning my onions and I'm gonna let them hang and sort of just saute down on low for as long as we need. I'm so happy everyone's here, and I do apologize that I can't apologize for the weather, but it's about 80-something degrees in West Hartford, Connecticut, and we've got our ovens on, and we are gonna do this because we have worked so hard. Hi everybody, come on in, hello. If you are new to this and kind of cooking virtually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the ingredients, then we're gonna...
Actually, I'm going to.
Yes, Valerie is going to read the ingredients and we are going to bring together the dough and we're going to let it rise and then we're going to gather our ingredients and then we're going to put our pizzas in the oven.
What are you going to preheat the oven to?
So great, thank you. Preheat your ovens to 425.
425.
I'm turning both of mine on and what we actually really want, if you have a pizza stone, and if you've ever cooked on a pizza stone, I don't, but I'm actually gonna put my baking sheet plain. There's nothing on it, and in this light it looks a little bit weathered, which it is. I'm just gonna put mine in the oven right now this whole time so that it heats up and gets as hot as the oven so that when we put the dough on it, it will help with a nice crust. So if you have a baking tray that you know is good, you can pop it in the oven and let it preheat along with your oven. And I've done this a million times with this specific baking sheet. Hi everybody, hi JCC friends. And save it for later. Hey Abby, how are ya? I think if you said you're gonna make this pizza and save it for later, yes, we'll just get it to the point where you put it on your tray and then you can pop it in the fridge. That is awesome and so thoughtful. Hi, Cousin Carrie. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
425 is good. Oh, hey, girl. Hi, Steinbergs. How are you? Bella's in the house. Yay. It's been a long school year. We've felt that as parents more than most years because we've actively lived these past 3 months at home with our darling students. So this pizza is not just for them. For us. So we are going to make pizza from scratch and show you how to do that. So we have the recipe. I will say there are many ways and methods and recipes to make pizza dough, and this is just one that I use all the time. It's tried and true, but if you've never done this before, I encourage you to kind of look around at other techniques, different ways of cooking it, and then so this is a good starting point if you've not ever made your own pizza dough from scratch. That being said, we don't have big wood burning fire, so the pizza's not going to cook up like a thin crust like we're on New Haven style pizza. So this is going to be a little bit different than that, and you are going to dictate how thick or thin you would like the crust. So I guess what we're going to do, I'm going to say hello. Hi Sherry. Loyal cousin and biggest supporter. So what we're gonna do is I'll just go through the ingredients right now. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the ingredients and then, right. So everyone needs some flour. We are going to, I sort of put in the directions, you can either make this, so we need 2 2/3 cup of flour. That's per person. We're gonna make a ton of pizza, Valerie and I. So you need some flour. You just need 1 teaspoon of sugar. You need 1 teaspoon of salt. You do need some yeast. So this is the type of yeast that you proof or bloom, I guess there's a lot of different ways to say it, in warm water first. So that's what we're gonna do. Hi everyone, thanks for those likes. I see them all. Thank you. So you're gonna bloom this first, which is what we'll do next. You do need a little bit of olive oil because I found when I make my pizza dough, it helps in the kneading stage. So we add that in when we add in our water. And truthfully, that's really it. It's flour and yeast at its most basic, level. And so the other part, Valerie, so we're gonna have some cheese. We have some cheese for toppings. And I'm going to show you how to put together a quick tomato sauce with some crushed tomatoes and dried herbs. I'm going to do a caramelized, because Valerie's gonna make a big one that's just cheese normal. I'm gonna make one with fig jam and caramelized onions and some Parmesan cheese. And I would use gorgonzola or blue if I had it, but I don't. So I'm gonna sort of make a trendy pizza for myself because I will eat it. What's that?
That's not good.
She doesn't like that, but guess what? It's for me, so I'm gonna make it.
Stuff?
So I like the combination of sweet and salty. So once you see how big your dough rises to, you can cut it in half. You can make individual pizzas. You can make one big pizza. So I'm gonna do this with fig jam and Parmesan and some caramelized onions. So you can kind of, whatever you have in your cabinets or your fridge, you sort of like take a quick inventory and see what you can throw on your pizza: mushrooms, olives, onions, and all that. So hi everybody. Yep, so we are going, hi my friends at the JCC. Fig jam. Thank you, sweetie. So what we're gonna do while everyone's sort of getting started, and it seems like we're looking like we're ready to go, so we are going to get our yeast active. If you don't have active yeast, if on your package, I just want you to take a quick look. If on your package it doesn't say, if it just says add right to the dough, you are going to wait and you're gonna add all of our ingredients together. But this one that I have, we need to activate with the dough. Okay. So Valerie's taking over and she's gonna read loud and clear, and let's go. Ready?
Activate yeast by mixing 1 cup warm water with 2.5 teaspoons of dry yeast and 1 teaspoon of sugar. Stir it together and let it sit for 10 minutes.
Perfect. So we're gonna run to our sink and get 1 cup each of hot water. I'd rather it be,
right there.
So that's 8 ounces if you have a 2-cup liquid measuring.
8 ounces.
So 8 ounces. So Perky, I already warmed it up, so it should be quite warm. I'd rather have you go a little bit too warm than a little bit too cold because we need that heat to start activating our yeast. Was it warm? I want to go a little warmer. Yep, why don't you dump that out, Perky? Because what happens if it's not warm enough? Oh, I'll do that. If it's not warm enough, it doesn't rise as well. And it needs to be I don't need it boiling, mind you, but I do need it. And make sure you give yourself a nice full 1 cup. Because we need, let me see yours, honey. Is it right at 1? Yeah, and in this case, I'd rather have you err on the side of maybe a smidge or a pinch too much water than too little water, because we can always add another pinch of flour to our dough just to make sure. But once we start mixing, it's really, really tough to add liquid if your ball of dough is too dry. So I'd rather, if you are not a perfect measure, I'd rather have you err on the side of caution and maybe a smidge over 1 cup than a smidge under 1 cup. Let me see, we've got a question. Hi, Allison Salisbury.
It said 1 1/4.
Yep, tomato puree is perfect. Yep, that's good. Her question was she didn't have crushed tomatoes, but she has tomato puree. Amazing.
No, but it also says it's 1 1/4 yeast on the website. 1 1/4.
Right. So if you're doubling the recipe, which I am, we're gonna do this. If you're doubling the recipe, I guess I sort of should have started that by saying if you're making, so I'm doing the recipe where I think it's been printed on my Instagram, and I think I fixed it on the JCC's website because I didn't want our dough to be too small. So what you're gonna do is if you're making so what I'm making and Valerie and I are making, we're doing a dough with 2.5, the flour is 2 2/3 cups of flour, and then that we need to balance it out with enough liquid. So we need 1 cup of liquid and not 1/2 cup of liquid, and 2.5 teaspoons of yeast. So I might have been printed somewhere where it was just 1 1/4, and that's fine. You'll have an individual pizza dough. So if so then we'll just make sure that you guys.
How much do we add?
Yep. So you're gonna add that whole packet. I hope that answers your question. I guess it shouldn't smell good because it's yeast. Oops. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour our 2.5 teaspoons into our water with 1 teaspoon of sugar. 1 teaspoon of sugar. So I'm doubling the recipe. I guess I'm going to go back to this so no one's confused.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, Perk. I just added her sugar to her water. So I'm doubling the recipe. If you're following a recipe that says 1/2 cup of water with 1 1/4 cup of yeast, or 1 1/4 teaspoons of yeast, that's great. I'm doubling it because I've got 5 of us here that are having lunch. It just will result in a bigger pizza dough. So I'll just make sure that we differentiate. So what Valerie just read for our...
drop this in.
Oh, that's okay. So we're gonna mix it now. So I have 1 cup of flour and 2.5 teaspoons of yeast.
So we're mixing it?
Yeah. Yep. And 1 teaspoon of sugar because we need a little bit of sugar to feed our yeast and help it activate.
I use this side.
You're using that side. So then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna let it sit. We're gonna let it sit. That's perfect. That's perfect.
We made a whirlpool.
She made a whirlpool. So we're gonna let it sit and activate. So let's leave it. So once you don't really need to overly stir it up, Perky. Just let it go. We don't need to do the whirlpool. So what we're gonna look for is a little bit of signs of activation, which means that the top's gonna get a little bit foamy, and we're just gonna leave it right there. And while we're gathering the rest of our ingredients, so Valerie, read it nice and loud so everyone can hear you.
Okay, step 2. In a medium bowl, add 2 2/3. 2 2/3 cup flour and 1 teaspoon of salt.
All right, so I'm going to gather mine quickly. So Valerie, so we need 2 2/3 cup, a nice level measure. So that's 2 cups, and then I have a 1/3 cup that I'm going to do twice. Yep. So I hope everyone's got their yeast and their yeast sugary water going and activating. If you have instant yeast, if you have regular yeast, I think because of what was going on in the country, and there are a lot of places that usually carry just this instant yeast that you just mix in water. I think they ran out of that, so they were more commonly, or I guess isn't as most commonly used, that active dry yeast that you just put right into the flour. But I don't have that kind today, so I have this. So to this, I'm going to add to my dough 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to add a little bit more because I have.
I want more.
Yep.
So like one of these?
Yes. And then you can just use your same fork that you use to mix up your dough.
How do I go?
Your yeast. You're gonna. Yep.
That's half.
Yeah, and it's nice because you want a little bit of flavor in your crust. So if you go over a little bit of a teaspoon, that's fine too. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Michelle, for doubling. Thank you. The sugar goes in the yeast and water. Yep. So in this mixture, and I can already, because it's nice and warm in my kitchen, so we're going to find that your dough is going to basically be rising right before our eyes, since it's one of those days. And as my yeast is proofing right before my eyes, and I have a light back there so you can't exactly see, but it's starting to layer and get a little bit swirly and foamy. So let me just go through here. So what we're going to do is we have our bowl now with our 2 2/3 cup of flour and 1 teaspoon of salt. And then our liquids with 1 cup of very warm water, 2.5 teaspoons of yeast, and 1 teaspoon of sugar. So you should have 2 things, and Valerie is being very open in her portrayal. So we've got that.
Cool.
I sort of want to clean up a little bit of our area before we get to the kneading. Your oven should be preheated to 425. And here we go. I'm gonna, what's up? We're not there yet because I don't think everyone is there yet, but I want to make sure. So, oh my gosh, goofy girl. She's a goofy girl. She is. So I'm gonna just keep a little bit of flour handy in case I need to add it when we are kneading, but give yourselves a little bit of room on your counter so that when you do start kneading, you have room. And I have my little bench scraper that I think I've used just about every week that we've been cooking along together. These are about $1 at any kind of culinary store. They're just very thin and they last for a lifetime. And they're really helpful because they don't scratch things when you are cleaning up. So, hello. All right, so we've got our pizza. Val, are you ready to go?
Yeah. Yours.
Okay, so read it, number 3. Yep.
Number 3.
So read. So they want to see you while you're reading it.
Add wet ingredients plus 3 tablespoons of oil. Olive oil?
Yep.
Of olive oil to flour.
Right. So I have olive oil here. So
I'm gonna add a little more because then it makes it more.
I know we're gonna. I actually upped it, so we're gonna. So it'll be that's actually a plenty good amount. So we're gonna make. I just made a little well in the middle of my flour.
Make a well, so I smooth it out first.
Yep. So I am going to add. So I think you can see it now. You can see almost that it's layered. So my dough is my yeast is active. It's really active, and I can see that it is. So I'm gonna pour this nice warm, sugary, yeasty liquid into my flour with our salt, and then I'm going to add 3 tablespoons.
Should I add it?
Yep, so you go ahead and add it.
Puffy. See?
Very puffy. Active. So you can just pour it right in. So I'm going to get going. I'm going to just start stirring. I'm going to watch Valerie. So stir it up. Here we go, Perk. So stir.
Stir.
So then how many oils are we going to add?
Oh, 3 tablespoons.
Right, 3 tablespoons of oil.
So
we're going to stir this together till it's almost combined. It's going to be pretty hard, but I want you to sort of resist adding your fingers if you're a kid, a younger baker, until it's basically combined, or it looks like this. Actually, I think that like a shaggy mess. So it's sort of combined, but sort of not. Because we want to keep as little off of our fingers as we can, and I know that's hard. So I've just basically mixed it together. I want to make sure you can see, and then I'm just going to put my hands in the bowl and just reach down into the middle and start sort of folding it on top of each other. Yep, and you should feel, because we use pretty decently warm water. What do you need, honey? Oh.
I can't get it with a fork.
That's okay. Do whatever you need, honey. She's using a spatula. Well, she's going to see how that works out. But so I'm just going to start kneading this in the bowl. And it's so nice and warm. And that's going to really help in our rising. Oops, so I have a little bit of dough here that I'm going to... So this is what my bowl looks like. Just a few shaggies. Oh, using your mixer. Sure, yeah, Carrie, go ahead. So now you can see I'm going to take at a certain point you'll know when it's time to take it out of your bowl. And I don't want you to add too much flour unless it's a really sticky mess, which we all use the same ingredients, but sometimes depending on how hot your water was, and other factors that just, we can't prevent. People might have a dough that looks a little bit different, but this dough, so I'm going to knead mine, but I'm just saying mine is like not sticking, but just a teeny. I'm literally pinching flour because I don't want to have a rock hard ball of dough. That is the last thing you want.
Okay,
We want to
put this on the table.
Yes, Perk. Good job. Okay, let me please.
So kneading. And flour under it.
Flour under it, and we'll just scrape that up. Good job, Valerie. Your dough looks amazing. All right, so now if you can just basically try and use your fingertips, and that's good.
I'm sorry,
and
but that's not going to happen.
it's okay, Valerie. You're doing great.
It's so sticky.
So I think what we're going to do with your dough is it's going to help us if we take some of that dough off your fingers, which is awesome. And she's doing exactly what happens when kids make this, which is great because it's a good to show. So I'm going to show you how to get the dough off your fingers.
Oh, I know how. Like
right, so rub it over your
this
bowl
because
we don't want to. No, we have to add a little flour. So rub it over your mixing bowl that's empty, almost empty, because we want to make sure. Oh, you have nice soft dough, Perky. See, her dough is very, very soft, which is going to make great crust. And it was very, very sticky. So,
I need more.
yeah. So what's going to happen is you're just going to rub your fingertips over a work surface, and then you're going to go to the sink and wash. Hope everyone's having some luck with their dough. I can certainly feel that 425. We have window units at our house. We don't have central air, which is fine.
Window units.
Window units, just our AC in your window and the one in our bedroom. And
Oh yeah.
I did not grow. I grew up with a fan and a very weak little fan. So I don't mind a little heat in the summer, but we're adding to it today because it also is 85 degrees out. But that's okay. So because of that, what's happening is that my dough is literally rising before our eyes. I don't even necessarily think I'm going to need to have to cover it up because it's really just rising. Oh, perfect, honey. You want to help me with here? See? So it's a little bit of work if your fingers did get covered in dough, but there's always a remedy to things when you're cooking. So let me just clean up her little spot here. Yeah, so it's actually sort of the school year ends and it's sort of like a non-event, which I know that Valerie's last day of class is on Thursday, and you just feel bad for teachers and kids because they don't really get to celebrate like they want to in person. And it's been a hard year as all of us have tried to become teachers, and we're all learning this whole time together. So everyone gets a big pat on the back for just getting through and really just hoping to inspire that love of education, which is the most important thing. So I'm going to just give you a little bit more flour. See, your dough, this is going to make awesome dough.
How soft is yours?
Yours is actually better than mine. Shh. But see how soft it is? That's just going to make.
Oh, it's so soft.
Right. It's so soft. What did you do differently than me?
I think I added like 3 drops more oil than I was supposed to because I couldn't tell if it was overflowing, so I just waited till it was full.
It's fine.
And I think more.
Whatever you did was right, because like I said, in person, if I was making this in a class of 20 kids, everyone's dough would come out a little bit differently, and that's just what happens. So we're gonna leave your dough here, and it is warm, so it does help. I hope everyone's doing okay. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, just pop them in the comment box and we will answer it. So what we're going to do is we are going to leave our dough. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it because I want to.
This is harder than mine.
Yours is harder. Mine is a little bit harder. Oh, Valerie, I can't wait to see how that goes. So we've got. I'm going to just leave them just a little bit out of sight. Valerie's actually, hers does look perfect. And, oh boy, there it is. So I am going to just cover it with a little towel. And that's honestly why I had doubled the recipe, because it made such a small amount that I wanted to make sure, at least if you were putting the effort in, you had a little bit more pizza to enjoy, or unless you were doing it with multiple people in your kitchen. So sorry for any confusion there, but hopefully everyone is good in their work spots. Oh good, wax mince looks great, yay! Oh, so I'm just gonna take a little turn here on my caramelized onions. Oh yeah, which look incredible. So I'm gonna turn. So I've just had that again. So to make a caramelized onion, it could truthfully be an hours long process. I did it a little bit quicker. I just had a Vidalia onion, which is a sweet onion. Valerie, they can see you biting your fingers. So I thinly sliced an onion and sauteed it in olive oil with, and just went, Valerie, don't do that. That's fun. She's trying to show you her salsa.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to block the screen.
She's trying to, oh, don't do that, Becky. It is the last week of school, and we are just, every rule is out the window. right, Perk? Valerie doesn't even have a Zoom lesson today. She doesn't, normally she has to step off at about 1:45, and we're just over.
Nice.
So while our dough's rising, I'm gonna kind of segue into making a little bit of homemade pizza sauce. Now, this is what I usually use, is a jar of sauce, and I love this brand. I don't know if you can see it, or if it's backwards. Botticelli, it was on sale to $3.99 at Big Y, so I got a few, because normally it's $5.99 or $6.99. And it literally tastes so amazing. It's the best. It's the best sauce. It truthfully is. And I shopped around a lot. I will say I grew up on Francesco Rinaldi and Prego, and the sauces that were $1 or come in a can or all sorts of configurations, and those are fine too. So I now have tried around if I'm not making my own. And truthfully, my own sauce never really tastes as good as what I can, what you get in a restaurant. And so I'm actually I'd love to have if anyone sharing their sauce ideas. Truthfully, it's just tomatoes at the base, so I don't know what I'm not doing. So today, the pizza sauce is a surefire, easy one. So I have a large can of tomatoes. I'm not using all of it. I'm just going to, I'm going to grab a spoon so we can stir it up. All right, so this is a can of crushed tomatoes. If you had pureed tomatoes, if you had fresh tomatoes, you could just put them in a food processor and puree it up. If you've ever had, a margarita pizza, it's just red tomato slices, and there's on a white pie. So you really can do, almost anything in any configuration. And Valerie's gonna eat all of our cheese before. So I'm eyeballing in about a cup of sauce. Valerie, do you want to add some of these spices?
Yeah.
That'll keep her from eating all the cheese, because honey, that's all we have. We need that for the pizza.
Fine.
So we're gonna add some herbs, whatever you have. That's either oregano, basil. If you have both, add both. Perfect. So you don't have to have a full. So add just a little bit less than a full one, a teaspoon. Okay, whatever. Yep. So just add some of that. You're gonna add. Yep. Right in the sauce. We're flavoring our sauce, and then you can add the same amount of. Yep. And truthfully, all of this stuff is to taste, so if you don't have dried basil, it doesn't matter. If you just have oregano, great, fine. All right, perfect. So I want you to, I almost gave you the sugar.
And some of this?
Add in the rest of the salt.
All of it?
Yeah. Oh wait, we do need the sugar. What am I saying? 1 teaspoon of sugar. So, I'm gonna let you stir it up. So we're adding a little bit of sugar. Yeah, you can add a little bit more, because the tomatoes on their own are a little, I don't want to say bland, but they need a little something, but you don't have to go over on the sugar. Now, where I grew up in Wethersfield, Leo's Pizza on Walcott Hill Road, their sauce is sweet, and I love it.
I love sweet sauce.
A little bit of, yeah. So Valerie's just saying she loves sweet sauce too. Love it. And I've never tasted a sauce that I enjoy quite as much as Leo's Pizza in Wethersfield. Okay, so stir that all together. You got your salt, your pepper. So honey, stir this up, because this is what you're putting on your pizzas.
Okay. Wait.
She's got cheese on the brain.
So good. I need you to
I would not partially. So the question was, is it possible to partially cook the pizza and finish later? I wouldn't partially cook it. I would just get it to where we're gonna be right before we put it to the oven, and then just put the whole thing in the fridge, just like you would if you had bought a pizza a prepared pizza at the grocery store that wasn't frozen. So I wouldn't do any partial cooking. I would just cook it all before dinner. Hey Michelle, hello. Oh, you like it a little peppery? She does. She just added more pepper. Ooh, I'm looking down at our dough, and mine has risen a little bit. And Valerie's. Oh, this is gonna be so fun to cook. So I'm just gonna leave them there for another minute or two. I'm gonna let everyone stir up their sauces, and I'm gonna put the dough a little more. Valerie, I love that you're tasting and whipping things up all on your own here. So I'm just gonna mix up my fig jam a little bit, because I need it to be a little bit spreadable, and since I don't need to put it in the microwave or anything, because it's so warm in my kitchen that we're good. Okay.
That's so good.
So I've just stirred that up. So what I'm gonna do when do you like it?
It's so good.
Good. See? Kids in the kitchen. They create all sorts of interesting and delicious things, and I love that she loves that dried basil. Hi, Pike fam! Florida's in the house. Yay! 2 questions. How long does the dough rise and what's the purpose of the olive oil in the dough? Okay, great.
It makes it easier to like spread out, and like the olive oil makes it softer and stuff.
Right, so I found when I add oil to the pizza dough, it just kind of helps smooth things out when I'm mixing it up. And also a little bit of flavor, I'd say, on that end too, and probably helps in the long run when with crust. So we have, if you don't have your baking sheet in your oven preheating, you can pop that in too. So I found a little, so since, like I said, we don't have a wood burning stove or pizza ovens that go up to 900 degrees, we are doing this in our own oven. So what I found over the years as I've made this at home for the kids, these are just my little tips. So I think over the times I've just added a little bit of olive oil to the dough to help smooth it out.
Where's the other cheese?
Oh, I'm not going to use that.
I want to eat that one.
No, Parky, we're not going to eat right now. We're cooking. We're cooking, honey. So the dough's going to rise for about 10 to 15 minutes. So mine's already, and since my kitchen is so warm, I can already tell that it's rising up. I hope that answered your question, Rich.
Oh, this is so good, my sauce.
Wait, so, okay, so Abby, if you're cooking, if you're not going to prep it out and you want to just wrap the dough and put it in the fridge till later, yep, that's Parm. That's the same type of cheese.
No,
So,
that's mozzarella.
God, we got to get on track. We're getting
Only my cheese.
Valerie's half. So what we're going to do is we are going to, if your dough's risen up, what you can do is if you're making one large pizza, you can leave it as is. If you're making individual pizzas, you're going to cut your dough in half. Valerie, are you doing individual, one for you, one for Vance?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm flipping my dough over because you can see there's a little bit of a smooth skin on it, which I like. So you can just flip your dough over so that it's not sticking. I know. I'm so glad that you are enjoying it. Are you making a big one or do you want to make 2 small ones or 3 small ones?
Small ones.
Okay. So you're going to use your cutter. We're going to get back on track here, Perky. We're getting a little excited that it's summertime.
Not yet.
I know, you're right.
June 28th.
Oh, June 28th is the first day of summer. So now this is the way that I'm just gonna jump right in here and I'm just gonna start. So I'm gonna start forming my dough,
I'll form my dough.
Yep. So okay, so let's not. So what we're gonna do is we're not gonna. Yep. So you can do the same thing. I'm gonna kind of turn my dough. I'm letting gravity sort of. But that's not enough playing around because if it does rip, it's pretty hard to put back together. So you want to kind of just let it go out. Yep, if you need a little flour on your fingers. My dough is not sticky at all. It's sort of just a perfect shapeable.
This is gonna be
so
mine.
As you notice, so my baking sheet is in the oven right now getting hot because I have found that it helps with that bottom, so we're not putting any olive oil, or you can, but I'm not going to do that, and I'm not putting any cornmeal down. You can do that if you have it. I think my kids would revolt if I did that. So at home, I can't get too super gourmet, but so what I'm going to do here, see, it's not sticking to, oh, I really wish I knew how to do the old, woo! I don't though. So, and I'm not going to try right now in front of you guys. Who's this?
The hands are sticky.
Shaping into the pan. Yes, right. So the Sicilian pie, if you want to just form it into your pan.
This
and you
is
have
mine.
Perfect. If you want to form it into your pan, that's what
I need a tray.
Here, I think I'm going to do this.
I got it.
Here, what do you need, Perky? Valerie is running off because something has... Ooh. All right, so I'm giving Valerie a little tray for hers. Here we go. All right, so I'm trying to create a little space for myself so that I can bring out my hot pizza pan. And I need this cheese. I'm gonna push Valerie down. She won't mind. Okay, we've had a neighbor to the door. That is what is happening right now. So we told the neighbor to buzz off. Come back later. Right? You told Bennett we're not busy, we're not available?
No, Vance didn't want to put it.
Okay, that's okay. So Valerie's gonna put her dough on your sheet.
This is gonna be so hard. Oh no, it's so
Okay, so Valerie, I need you to watch right now. You need to stay positive. I've got my Screamin' Hot tray out of the oven, and I'm putting it down. Woo!
I want to make my pizza.
I'm putting my pizza. So I got it pretty thin. Just be careful if kids are doing this and you're doing this step. If you're saving the pizza for later, you would not. You here? Do you want me to
It's too stretchy.
Valerie, it's perfect. It's perfect. There we go.
I need to show.
There we go.
Is this hot?
No, that one's not hot. I didn't do a hot one for Valerie because I actually forgot. So what this is going to enable you to do is just kind of spread it out a bit.
It's so sticky. Oh my God, where's the flour?
It's okay. It's okay if it's sticky.
Okay, well,
we don't have
that's
to-
mine.
The whole thing's yours. You can have the whole thing. So I've got my dough here. I'm going to be very careful so that I don't burn myself. And
I need another small tray for Vance's.
Yep, go ahead. Do you want to grab it out? So since I'm going to do a fig,
You know what? Can I just put
actually, you
it
know
on
what
the
I'm going to do? I'm going to
tray
do
already?
half and
Can I
half.
just put it on the tray?
Yep,
already?
yep.
Oh wait. I learned from last time.
Okay, Valerie's got her own tips and tricks.
Well, now it's not gonna get sticky.
So I am just spreading. So this is dough, and I like a thin crust. So I'm spreading my crust.
I don't.
Oh,
I like
oh
big crust.
boy. So I'm gonna take this right out. I'm gonna do half. I'm changing it up as we're doing it. Half cheese and sauce and half fig.
You're using my sauce?
I'll use a little bit. If not, I'll make it work, honey. All right, so I've got my little carm onions that I am just dragging around. So that's that. I hope everyone's shaping their dough and then not having any dough emergencies. If you are, it'll all be. If your dough does break, like actually mine tore a little bit, just put it on the pan and keep moving and push it together as best you can. So that's that. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan cheese on mine. I should have opened this before. All right, Valerie, perfect. So why don't you start dressing yours?
Vance's.
We'll do Vance's after.
Okay.
Because we might not even make it right now because we have so much pizza right here. Here, do you want to come and do it a little bit closer so everyone can watch you?
Ow.
I'm gonna put Vance's. All right, so Valerie's got her sauce.
I like this sauce.
So I'm sprinkling a little parm because I love that sweet and salty of the fig jam, the little tang of the caramelized onions, which also got a little bit sweet. So I am not gonna go too crazy.
Don't use all of it.
This is the parm, honey. It's not yours.
Oh, okay.
Oh my! Oh my!
Well, don't use all of that.
What do you mean?
That one.
I won't. There's so much. This is
I like
2 cups of cheese. So you can decide if you want to take it all the way out to the rim or leave yourself a little border. Yes, yes. And I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spread a little bit of the sauce. I am a sauce person. I love sauce. I'm just gonna use a fork and sort of paint this on. So I've got half cheese. And normally I'm doing this a lot faster, so I would have already had it in the oven, and you're probably thinking, well, now your baking tray is probably cold, but you get the idea. If you're working alone and you've done this, you know, when you're not taking extra steps, you would normally just kind of throw the sauce on, put it back in the oven, and get cooking. All right, so I'm just gonna do some cheese. So now this is mozzarella.
Mom,
Yeah?
don't use all of it.
Perk.
I
How about
like
some kindness to your
cheese.
mother? Don't use all of it. Don't use all of it. Here. I didn't use all of it, everybody. So I'm gonna put mine back in the oven. So I've got a mixed pie here. Fig jam, caramelized onion, Parmesan cheese, marinara, and mozz on this end. And I'm putting it in the oven. And there it goes. So it's back in at 425. I'm gonna set my timer for 15 minutes. It's gonna take about 20, it just depends on how nice, if you like that, it just depends on what's going on in your oven, I will say. And so it's gonna take about 20 minutes, maybe 22, maybe 18, just depending on your oven and how things go around.
Okay, this is what mine looks like.
Perfect, Valerie. Can I see? Oh, look at that, she gave herself a nice border. She did it herself. And so let's save that because we have extra, so I'm gonna put it in the oven. I've got the bottom oven going. Okay, so cleanup time, everyone. So once your pizzas are in the oven, everyone's gonna take 5 and tidy up.
And eat the cheese.
No, save some for later.
Okay,
Save some for later, Perky. I should have fed her before we did this, but I didn't. So I'm gonna do a quick thing. Valerie, can you put this stuff in the sink?
Yep.
Please. And it's so I'm gonna put away my olive oil, all my spices. Valerie, she's eating the sauce. And so I now have almost more than a half of a can of crushed tomatoes. So what I'm gonna do is I sort of am, I won't say I'm not a hoarder, but I save these quart containers, and I actually buy them a lot too. I buy a sleeve of them at a party supply store near us in Hartford. And so I change it, or if I get, takeout, and if I get takeout. So what I'm gonna do is I put it in
This is so cute.
Perky, I'm talking. Put it in the oven, and then I used to work in restaurants, so this is, what's today's date? Is it the?
It's the 9th.
Okay, so I'm gonna put 6/9 on the top, so I know how long it's been in the fridge. Because
and look it.
wait, hold on. Sometimes things hang out in your fridge. You're like, oh gosh, how long has this salsa been in there? And it's actually been months instead of weeks. So I like to put the date on things. There's a real restaurant tip for you.
I have to show you something that I got.
Okay, go ahead.
A mini cucumber.
Right. So we had.
It's like the size of.
So in our veggie box this week, we got a little tub, and they're dripping because we washed them all, of these cutest little mini cucumbers.
No, that looks big in the back. They're big.
Very small.
See my pinky?
Oh, Valerie, that's a good way to measure it. So I'm gonna wash my hands. I'm gonna clean my counter. So hopefully your pizzas are in the oven. And let me dry my hands. I'm gonna wipe down my counter. Isn't it good?
One bite.
One bite. All right, so that pizza is rising. Is there anything else you'd like to add? So let's talk about what we're gonna do next week.
Oh, can I tell them?
Say it nice and loud. Okay.
Wait.
She's eating you.
Okay. We are going to be making strawberry shortcake.
Woo! So we're gonna kick off the summer with some strawberry shortcake. And and I'm sort of conscious of our time in the summer too. And I wanna make sure we're gonna make sweetened biscuits.
Doesn't that sound fun?
It's a different recipe than if you baked biscuits with us months ago now. And you can use strawberries, you can do mixed berries.
Oh, this one's the size of
That one's
my
much
palm.
bigger. Yeah, those are so cute.
It's the size of my palm.
Yep. So I'm glad my kids are vegetable and fruit eaters, which is great. So we can't keep enough cucumbers, carrots, apples in the house.
Oh my god, the seeds are so small.
Yeah, the seeds are small, yeah, because it's a small little thing. Oh, we got Callie at the door. Come on in, honey. Callie, come in. Come on. The dog was at the door wanting to come in. Hello, everyone. All right, strawberry shortcake. Yep, you can keep the dough. I would just put it in the fridge and then let it come down to room temp before you start shaping it. So if you made your dough and you want to cook it later for dinner, perfect. Just put it in the fridge, I'll cover it, and that will stop the rising. And then just take it out and let it sit out for a little bit till you can see that it's pliable and easy to work with. Yes, you can. Hopefully that answered your question. You could prep the whole thing. And then just put the whole tray in the oven later too. You could also, I love this because it's grilling season, and
we don't have a grill.
Well, we'll get one. We got rid of our grill because it was pretty old after last summer, and now we're regretting we haven't bought another one yet. So we don't need to talk about all of our family business, but we don't have a grill.
Grilling season.
Well, it is for most people that they have their grills. And if you want to make grilled pizza, so you would take like that portion of dough. I would probably even cut that that maybe even into thirds or in half, depending on, because when you grill pizza, you want to have enough an individual pizza, in my experience. So what you would do is you'd get the dough pretty thin, cover it generously on both sides with olive oil, get the grill hot, cook it on both sides, just the dough, and then you finish it once you flip it, and you should see nice grill marks. Once you flip it, so that means you're gonna have grill marks on the top and the bottom. So then you would put your toppings on. Last year I made a really yummy one with nectarines and fresh mozzarella balls. You could do all sorts of things.
Oh, Mom, isn't there a kind of pizza? It's like a dish, pizza.
Oh yeah. So we've been watching a little bit of Netflix, and we watched a show called Somebody Feed Phil, which is an amazing program for adults and children. He travels around the world, and they were in Chicago. So we learned all about deep dish pizza and how it came to be and how they make it and watching them eat it. And
Can you put a cucumber on a pizza?
So Valerie asked if you can put a cucumber on a pizza. I probably wouldn't, but I think people sometimes might put already sauteed summer squash or zucchini. That I would see. What I would worry about something like a cucumber or raw squash like that is that it would maybe, I guess, release some moisture. So that might not be the best for your topping of your pizza. So I would cook that first. But that was a good thought. A good thought. You're gonna do that at your camp. Yo, camp's happening? Is camp on?
Who would?
So yeah, so you could do that. So if you're grilling pizza, so back to the grilling pizza, you could grill pizzas. You could do that and then put chocolate spread and marshmallows and do more like a s'mores pizza. You could certainly do that at this point too, but in the summer if you're grilling, it's great. And especially you can make your dough. Obviously you can go and buy the balls of dough that are in the grocery store too. So Carrie was asking about quick rise versus long rises. Honestly, I don't know. I don't have the patience. I've never, ever let a dough rise for 5 hours. It probably just gets more, I don't know. I'm talking totally out of the sky here. It could just get more soft. It could maybe the flavor has the chance to develop more. Maybe it affects the chew. So I developed this recipe because it's easier to do when you're cooking, when you're doing a cooking class. And if you have to make pizza in 90 minutes, or less, this is, I found after trying so many that weren't working out that well, I like this one the best. So I might have to try that if I have some extra time in my hands this summer and really do that long process.
Oh, I know what to do.
What are you gonna do?
This.
Oh, Hawaiian pizza. Speaking of Hawaiian pizza, Valerie got a surprise mystery box on our curb, our doorstep, with juice boxes and hot summer things and Lay's and snacks, and it was just a surprise thing. We don't know who dropped it off, and so people are so nice in this world. I'm sure it was one of our friends, so thank you, friend. So yeah, so she's got all sorts of things to explore in that little box, and it brought so much happiness. Oh, good. I'm so glad. So this is, like I was saying earlier, it's one way to try pizza dough. There are so many other methods. I've seen sourdough pizza dough, and
I know another great idea.
Valerie's got more great ideas. So your pizza should be cooking if you're cooking it at this point. If you're cooking it all the way through. So I hope that you are. Oh no, Valerie, she's got her bubbles. Guys, we're really getting crazy here. So next week we're gonna do strawberry shortcake. I need to talk with our friends at the JCC about what time. Is this time good? Is this? I'm not sure. When does West Hartford schools get out? When do they actually get out? The 18th. Oh, so we'll have to talk about what time. If this time works, Tuesdays at 1, I think, or maybe we might move it. I'm doing a cooking camp next week. And the classes are
like
10:50
to ones, like 7 o'clock.
10:50 to 12:50, so that actually might be a little bit of a jam. What
about like 7 o'clock?
At night?
Yeah. Night news.
That would be fun. I'd love to do that. A night camp. We should do a night cooking class. So what I always do with the pizza, because I always find Valerie. I always find that I like the cheese a little bit more melted, is that I usually end up putting the broiler on at the very end if I want to get things, you know, golden brown. And so that's what I usually end up doing. So I'm just going to take a peek in. It says I still have 4 minutes left, so I'm not really going to rush this. But it's looking good.
What does it look like?
I'll turn the light on.
Well, this one.
Ooh. Yep,
Is that yours?
flour. Yep. I put yours in much later, so I don't know what yours is going on. Okay, close the oven, close the oven, close the oven. All right, because if we spend too much time opening and looking, we're letting out all that hot air. Isn't that the truth? Does anyone have any exciting news to share or anything you'd like to discuss, Perky Perks? Oh, she's asking about other things, not anything that pertains to food. Thank you so much for all of your likes and for cooking with us. So this is our 11th week. I'd like to know who's done every single class. And the good thing is about this is that if you can't watch it live, you can always watch it later, and they are on the Mandel JCCs. They're saved on their Facebook page, and they're saved on YouTube, on the JCC's YouTube page. And if you would like to hang out with me outside of this Facebook Live, you can find me on Instagram at Lindsay Culinary and on Facebook at Lindsay Culinary. And it's a great little food community that I've cultivated with your help of years of just posting what I'm cooking for dinner. And I love the natural food conversations that come up just when you just share what you're cooking in your own little kitchen. Yep. You're gonna have this for dinner. So are you cooking it now, or you're gonna and then reheat later? So if you're cooking now and reheating later, then I would just put the whole tray back in the oven and heat the whole thing up. Yeah, I think that's what I would do. If you haven't cooked it, I would just kind of loosely cover it with saran and then just put it in the fridge. And then when you're ready to preheat the oven, I would take it out while the oven's preheating and then just bake it off like that. And there is much appreciation now for pizza makers, and it's not to get that perfect crust. And it's interesting how everyone does it their own way, or does it their own special techniques. Or everyone has sort of do you have a favorite pizza place? I mean, I love them all. I would eat pizza. I love them all. I
like Grand Pizza.
Oh yeah, Grand Pizza's down in West Hartford though. So there's all sorts of places. I could tell you what I like about each place in our town's pizza. I could tell you, I like them all, and I like them all for different reasons. So there's room for pizza, all sorts of pizza. It's hard to just kind of pick one place, so I'm not going to. And it's great to support your local pizzeria. We've got one down the street, Jimmy's Pizza, that we've had all of our kids' birthday parties at, and it's kind of Valerie. We've had lots of fun times there, and that's just sort of, they have jukeboxes on the tables, and you just go.
You
and
get quarters.
Come here, come on. She's wandering. So I get it. So if your pizzas are in the oven, you're gonna let them cook. Ours has about a minute left on this first check, and I'm gonna rotate it, check the crust, and see how much longer it will need. But Valerie, since she made a smaller individual pizza, hers might actually beat me out. So we'll see, but we're not gonna open the oven just yet. We're gonna let it go to the end. So be on the lookout for the info on our strawberry shortcake bake. That has a ring to it. And we'll probably make some fresh whipped cream.
I made my own one. How do you see?
Oh, good.
Pasta.
Why don't you show everybody? She is just finding.
This was in Lollipop, which is like pre-K.
Yeah, pre-K pick.
And I made my own thingy out of pasta.
She made her own leg out of pasta. That was our little punky Perk. Oh, she was so cute when she was, what was that, 2.5, 3 years old. Yeah, special times. So we are gonna check our pizza. It's got 7 seconds left. Make sure you use your oven mitts.
My favorite class that I taught was, I like the cookie one. Where I did the cookies in the pan.
Ooh.
The Giving Gratitude Day.
So this is mine at, I think, did we do 15 minutes? So it's
No, 20 minutes.
I put it at 20?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I don't know what I did, but I'm gonna peek under. Oh yeah, so things are moving
Does anyone
along.
know how long we put it in?
Well, no, I think I put it at 15. So I'm going to put it at another 5, but I have a feeling I'm going to let this go.
I think mine's done.
Let me check. Oh, yeah.
I think is it overcooked?
No. Oh, wow, Valerie. I guess so going an individual pizza. I'm just going to peek under. Oh, I need a little something because I don't want to.
Burn your fingers.
Nope. I don't want to burn our fingers. Oh.
I think it's done.
Oh, it is done, Perky.
Well,
Yay. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Your dough is very, very sticky. No, please don't. Please don't. We don't need any tears. So this looks so delish. I'm just going to help loosen it up a little bit because there were a couple of spots where her dough was extra sticky.
I'm going to go get.
Oh, it smells good. You did a great job, Valerie. Okay, so I think everyone, if you made individual pizzas, they should be coming out of the oven. And you know what, hers is sticking a little bit, but I knew that was going to happen because her dough was, Fergie, guys. Shh. So Valerie, why don't you come on, we're going to finish up the Facebook Live so we can get on with our day. Vance is ready for pizza. Vance, you want to come in and say hello? Come on, Perky. Vance has never even had a cameo. All right, everybody, this is Vance. You want to step up on the stool?
Found a picture.
Valerie, can you let Vance step up on the stool? Vance is 18 months younger than Valerie. He's getting a haircut tomorrow. This is Smile, honey. Just say hi.
Hi.
So he is milling around in the background because he is ready for a piece of pizza. And as we all are, there we go.
Can I show them this?
Sure. Honey, go ahead.
This was my kindergarten picture.
The wheels have fallen off the bus.
My hair was short.
The wheels on the bus.
Right?
But we kept it together. Oh, there we go. All right.
Shh. Yeah,
So
that's
hold
mine.
on. I'm going to just transfer this to...
Isn't it? Oh, there.
I'm going to transfer Valerie's pizza to a cutting board.
Maybe I'll do the strawberry shortcake.
What's that, honey?
Maybe I'll do the strawberry shortcake.
Oh, do you want to? Vance just said maybe I'll do the strawberry shortcake too. So look, we've got a golden brown crust. Woo!
That's mine.
And we've got a nice crisp crunch to it. I'm going to get my knife and I'm going to cut the, do you guys want squares? Or actually, I think we're going to do squares.
That's mine.
Valerie, it's okay. I just want to show how we're going to cut it.
Triangle. No.
Hey Valerie, let's
I
keep
want like that.
Let's keep pause. Do you want to eat it like this long piece?
No, I want that. Keep it.
Do you want to cut it in half?
No.
Do you want to grab a plate?
Yeah.
All right, so before everyone's attitudes just start taking over this Facebook Live, we are going to sign off. Hey, Valerie, why don't you say thank you to everyone for watching?
Thank you, Vance. Down.
Here, Vance can say right here, Perky.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thank you for watching, and thank you for being with us for these past 11 weeks. Hopefully, you want to keep cooking with us throughout the summer. You can look at the Facebook event that'll show you what time and when we're going to do the next one, the strawberry shortcake, so be on the lookout for that. Here we go. Enjoy your pizza. If you have any questions, you can always send me an email at lindsayculinary@gmail.com, or you can find me on Instagram at lindsayculinary or Facebook. So, Vance, is it pizza time?
Facebook. Yep.
It is. Valerie, thank you so much. Thank you, JCC. Thank you to all you wonderful people. Have a pizza party. Woo! We're going to have our pizza. Everyone have a wonderful day. How much longer is yours staying in the oven? Mine is staying in for about 6 more minutes. It was just extra big. And so what I'm looking for on mine, I teased you all. I'm just looking for on mine, I just wanted a little bit more brown on the top. Actually, well, I think mine is ready now. So mine's coming out too. I just checked. Thank you. Was it Laura for reminding me of mine? So I've got mine. Here's mine. Perky. So here's mine. I'm going to share some of this, but I'm going to eat my fig pie. Great. Hey, Uncle Kent. Happy Tuesday. All right, it's pizza time. We are signing off because I don't think anyone needs to watch us eating pizza. Thank you. Thanks, fam. Thanks, cooking fam. Thanks, JCC fam. Have a great day.
Bye, fam.
All right, we're going to sign off. Thanks, Irene.